Welcome to Red Eye. Hello, everyone. I am Tom Shillue. Let's check in with TV's Andy Levy at the Red Eye Tees deck. Andy?
Thanks, Tom. Coming up on the big show, a new card with a checklist of 7 different ways you might be showing your privilege can now be bought. Seems like it would just have been easier to print your Tom Shillue.
Oh, boy.
Plus, a new app lets you know if Donald Trump tweets about a company whose stock you own. Thankfully, this is meaningless to me unless giving half your paycheck to Amazon counts as owning stock. And finally, a 37-year-old man is banned from a Starbucks after he gives a note to a 16-year-old barista asking her out. We'll try to figure out why Anthony Cumia lied about his age next. Back to you, Tom.
Thanks, Andy. Let's welcome our guest. She solved more Achilles problems than Paris. Physician and surgeon and National Review Institute Regional Fellow, Dr. Kelly Powers. He's my favorite Canadian. Oh, I'm sorry, that intro was for Alex Trebek. Oh. Comedian Nathan MacIntosh. He spends most of his time with his pal Inigo on their search for the six-fingered man. Oh. Comedian Ben Kissel.
We'll find him.
If you visit his compound, you have to try the indoctrination ceremony. Sitting right next to me is the host of the Anthony Cumia Show on Compound Media, Anthony Cumia. Okay, let's start the show. A comedy show on the BBC did a skit mocking ISIS. How dare they? The show's called Revolting. The skit was a little too edgy for some viewers. Take a look.
Coming up this season on The Real Housewives of ISIS.
Wow. It's only 3 days till the beheading, and I've got no idea what I'm going to wear.
So this is my 6th marriage. I've been widowed 5 times. 6 times.
She wasn't even surprised. Let's see some more.
Hey, ladies! What do you think of this? Awkward. What a complete bitch. She knew I had that jacket. Copies everything. Copied this.
Coming up next week.
He won't stop talking about his 40 virgin. Why can't he be happy with me?
Ali bought me a new chain, which is 8 foot long. Wow. So I can almost get outside, which is great.
Oh, wow. Some people on social media were appalled that comedians would poke fun at evil. One person wrote, the fact that it is a comedy makes it even more worrying that humor should be associated with the activities of ISIS. Another added, if ISIS bombs somewhere in the UK and kills innocent people, anyone finds this show funny? Don't think so. Very bad taste. Maybe they have a point. It's not like comedy has a history of being used against evil political philosophies. But Anthony, look, ISIS, they have feelings too, don't they?
Yeah, that's very offensive. Bravo, I say. It's refreshing to know that there's some comedy out there that is still willing to just go past all the PC crap. I thought England was like really PC, like crazy PC. Like that would never wash here. You can never do something like that here.
I was going to ask you that. You don't think they could have gotten away with it?
Oh God, no. No one would do it here like in the first place.
That's it.
They wouldn't want to come off looking like that. I mean, that's hilarious.
Yes, fantastic. I mean, I actually am surprised, Big Ben Kissel, that it was done in England because they lately have been being more politically correct than us. Do you think it's because it's kind of hitting home in Europe now?
Well, yeah, sure. They had Brexit. Theresa May is now the prime minister. I think the rules are changing a little bit, and certainly women are usually on the brunt end of abuse when it comes to Muslim extremists and ISIS. So they can do whatever they want. I think they were very talented, and I think Lauren Michaels should cast a few of them for Saturday Night Live. Yeah, I have no problem with it whatsoever. I mean, we just had 39 killed in Istanbul, 49 killed at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando recently. If you have any sympathy towards ISIS whatsoever, you need to check your own privilege and realize that this is a great comedy satire poking fun at people who torment women on a daily basis.
Yeah, I think, Nathan, I think that the people that are offended, I'm trying to, think of why they would be offended. I don't think they're worried about ISIS. I think that they just think that, suicide bombers aren't funny, so you can't joke about it.
Suicide bombers. Yes, technically suicide bombers are not funny.
There has to be one that was, though.
Of course, there's one guy who was on stage one night, it wasn't going well, and he was like, I'm pulling the chute. But there's the idea that we have to think about the feelings of terrorists is pretty insane. But I think what people are saying is that they they don't like people poking fun because there are real women being affected in these ways, correct? Like that's what some people were very mad at. They were like, "You're now depicting women who are going through terrible times," but it's like, yeah, that's what. It's just making fun of an insane thing. You can't. If we just decide that we're not going to do any kind of satire at all, we're in a real weird place.
It shouldn't even be called Housewives. In ISIS world, they're just wives. They're not allowed to leave the house, so I don't think they're allowed to have a different sort of definition. But what it was trying to poke fun of was all these people, young girls, being drawn over to join ISIS in the Middle East, given this massive fantasy that they're being sold. And when they get there, that's the reality.
That's it. Doctor, I think it was a takeoff on the Real Housewives reality shows. Do you?
Is that an actual reality show? Because I would watch that. Is it real? I mean, because that was hysterical. I mean, let's be honest. It's comedy, it's satire. This is ridiculous that people are even offended by this. Come on. This has been going on for a while. What about the producers? Didn't they mock Nazi Germany in that show, and it won a Tony, right?
That's
it.
We need to relax. You know, Anthony, you say this couldn't fly here. The thing is, the producers did fly, but that was
years ago too.
It was remounted.
Right.
It was a classic, but I don't think if that were written today, that wouldn't get produced.
No. And the gentleman that said that, and in comedy. Like that's the worst thing ever. Right. Like no, that's exactly where it belongs. Is comedy. No one wants to realize there is context to certain things, and it's not just people dressing up like that and goofing on ISIS and Islam and women being abused like that. It's a parody. It's comedy. That's where it belongs. That's where that type of stuff belongs.
And it's not that far off with the reality.
Oh.
Well, maybe
and that is the worst part, yes. That is, things are actually happening like that, not a comedy sketch about it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. If only there was an easier way to let people know they need to check their privilege. Anthony Cumia, you've always said that.
Yes.
Well, now there is. A woman in Brooklyn, I know, I was shocked too, is selling privilege cards. You can pass out to your friends or to anyone else that you want to annoy. On the front, they say, "Uh-oh, your privilege is showing." On the back, they let people know, quote, "You've received this card because your privilege just allowed you to make a comment that others cannot agree or relate to." And helpfully, there's a list of options that apply. White, socioeconomic, Christian, male, heterosexual, able-bodied citizen, and other. How do I check all of the above?
Wow.
The cards go for $5 for a pack of 10, with all profits going to the Trump Foundation. Interesting, right?
Strange.
Actually, they go to a Center for Undocumented and Documented Immigrant Youth. Nathan, what do you think? Is this what we need now?
Is this gross and wrong and over the top? Yeah, it's all of those things. Whoever has the $5 to buy this ridiculous, stupid card, that's privilege right there. You have $5 to waste on this stupid piece of paper.
Yeah. So should they? I mean, I guess but I think that's what she's saying.
Yeah.
These are for the privileged, these cards. And
you give them out when you feel like you've said something.
Well, no.
If that's what this is, if it's supposed to be, I'm a white man and I say something and I'm like, oh, I got it. It's not to check my own privilege, right?
It isn't. But I think that the people who buy them, they think they're privileged anyway. What they think, okay? Maybe if I can explain this. Tell me if you agree with me,
Please.
Big Ben Kissel.
Yeah.
That they believe they recognize their privilege and they want their other white friends to recognize their privilege too.
Well, they won't have a problem doing that because they're not going to have a lot of friends. If I ever receive that card, I don't think I'll be speaking to anyone that gave me that card anytime soon. But what is the fill in the blank? I mean, citizen. That's the one that really gets me. Citizen as a privilege. That's just like what that's fine. You know, if I don't know what the situation would be in where you would use that. If perhaps you're using a citizen's arrest and the person you're trying to stop from robbing the bank is like, check your privilege. You're a citizen.
Well, it's certain. I mean, it's anyone who has anything that's going well with them. You know, if they're able-bodied,
right?
That's a form of privilege, right?
Yeah, of course it is. And citizen, you bring up a great point. You would need to buy over 300 million of those cards to give everybody their citizen's privilege check.
Yes.
These things, I don't know. It's the same thing as those you put under someone's windshield wiper when they park stupidly.
Yeah.
So they're useless, little novelty gag. If someone handed that to me, I would instantly give them a paper cut with it.
Absolutely.
Anytime anyone sometimes people hand you things on the subway, and immediately you brush it onto the seat next to you, right? You don't even read it, so I don't think doctor is going to be reading these cards, even if they get them handed to them.
I don't take the ones from the strip clubs when I'm walking past them. I'm not going to take those.
I think we're handing them out. No?
Probably for the best.
You know, I think the biggest problem with this is it assumes that all white male Christians, able-bodied, are privileged. You know, I mean, on a serious note, there's plenty of white male Christians that are not privileged. For example, to bring the mood down a little, I do a medical mission in Appalachia. I mean, if you go to Appalachia, there's white male Christians there that are certainly not privileged.
Yeah.
And I think it just feeds into the false left narrative, as per usual.
Obviously, these things get sillier and sillier, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to think, do you think that this is... Maybe it's like a cold that people are getting. It's like not everyone is a lunatic. It's just like a little cold, and little batches of people are getting it, and then it's going away.
We know who they are. It's that liberal left moronic ideology. And yeah, could you imagine, like you see some of the drug-addicted homeless guys out there, and could you imagine handing them one because he's white and Christian? He's holding a Jesus, please help me sign, and you're like, hey, you, privilege. Yeah, there are plenty of people that are hurting that still apply, that could check off one of those boxes.
It is also offensive they don't just have the word woman on there, because if a white woman sneezes wrong, Nancy Grace is reporting on it as if she might have gone missing. I mean, it's an extremely safe class in many, many ways.
Although, I mean, I think this woman who makes the cards would argue that all women are, somehow disadvantaged, correct?
She's selling the most BS product I've ever seen in my entire life and making money off of it.
Okay. When Trump tweets, the earth shakes. Indeed, his missives can move markets. Now an app will notify you if he tweets about a company that you own stock in. Last month, you may recall Boeing stock dropped 2% after Trump tweeted about the aerospace company. Fortunately, so far, Trump hasn't tweeted anything about either of my top holdings, Enron and Pets.com. Buy and hold, folks. Buy and hold. It always goes back up. And Trump's tweets also have tech titans trembling. CNN reports tech CEOs are fearing getting a tweet about their companies at 3 a.m. West Coast time, since the president-elect often tweets in the 6 a.m. Eastern hour. Multiple tech leaders say they have, or their PR folks, have adjusted their schedules to make sure someone's up at 3 a.m. to catch the tweets out of fear that a Trump tweet could crash their stock and put their company into a frenzy. Well, look, Nathan, I think this is good. He's creating jobs already. You got lawyers having to wake up at 3 a.m. Those are billable hours.
Jim the Hammer Shapiro is back.
Yes.
This, I guess you want to know if the president says the stock you own is a loser. It's not that bad of an app. You own some stuff in Delta. He finds out they're not going to serve peanuts anymore, and he's like, Delta's going down. Sad, or whatever he's going to tweet.
Yes.
It is just kind of ridiculous that you have to. The president's going to tweet about companies. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, look, he's getting results, isn't he, Ben?
He's helping out a lot of brick and mortar places. Specifically, the web-based consumer products aren't necessarily loving him too much. The Silicon Valleys of the world.
Why? Why is that?
Well, because he doesn't appreciate the job growth that they are creating, because it doesn't affect the people who supported him so heavily in the election.
Right.
And he wants to get those manufacturing jobs back. But the thing that bothers me is there's an app to tell when Trump is tweeting. It's called Twitter. Why do we have an app to get to another app? Just look at his Twitter account and you'll see exactly what he said.
Ben, that's brilliant. I didn't even think of that.
It bothered me. As soon as I read that, I was like, what are you doing? Why are you creating a middleman for Twitter?
Well, this shows you something, because I think some of these tech people, they're so against Trump, they don't even want to subscribe to his Twitter feed. You think, Doctor?
Like it or not, and I'm actually one of those people that does think that Trump should probably close down his Twitter account come Inauguration Day.
You do.
But like it or not, this is reality. I mean, this is what it is. It's no new concept that a president or even a celebrity, if they say something or support something, that it's going to affect the markets. And I know there's some implications that it's insider trading. I mean, this is public. Millions of people are seeing it, so it couldn't be any more public. It's on Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anthony, look, I think a lot of people treat Trump's Twitter thing as some kind of, it's like a problem. It's like an obsession of his.
Yeah.
But I think it's all very deliberate. I think it's part of his overall strategy. And so, when people say he's got to stop it, it's causing all sorts of problems, he says, no, I want the problems. I like what I'm doing.
Yes. anything that people have told Trump to stop doing has been fantastically successful for him. Why would he stop? It's like that episode where Costanza did everything backwards and he all of a sudden got very successful.
Tune on rye.
Yes.
He ordered the tune on rye. He became president.
Yes, that's what he did. I love that he tweets, first of all. I know it annoys the media because they want to filter what he says before it goes out to the people so it fits their agenda.
Yes.
It's just him talking to us, and it's wonderful. As far as the stock thing goes, I don't know, I might give it a try. Does he ever tweet about blackjack? Because I would jump right in on that. What is that?
This dealer's hot tonight.
Mr. President-elect, should I double down?
Yes. Well, Dr. Anthony makes a good point. I mean, you still are of the school of thought that it's a problem.
Yeah, and I know that it's kind of the times they are changing, and I should just be okay with it. But I don't know. It seems a little bit.
It seems juvenile, you're saying.
It does. And again, 3 a.m, maybe some of his tweets are great, and it does let the public kind of know what he's doing. It's a forum for him to tell us.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they're a little, I mean, we all know.
The president on television? Well, that doesn't seem very presidential. Yes.
I'm sure
Fireside chat. What is that about?
Twitter might be the greatest place for international discussion between leaders of all time. I mean, the fact that he tweeted at Kim Jong-un, be like, not happening. You're not going to get nuclear weapons. It plays to that exact thing that got him elected, which was a connection to the constituent that no other president had before.
Are we sure that's a real Twitter account, though? There's a lot of fake ones. Did he tweet it just a kid in some dorm that's like, okay, I never wanted nukes?
That was all real. You don't gotta make a fake one for Trump.
Sometimes they get you with the Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, oh my God. But then how ridiculous the tweet is. You still got to go. Is that Donald Trump? It could be. It could be.
The funny thing is, people who can't stand Trump will create fake Trump Twitter accounts with his picture on it.
Yes.
They will treat something reprehensible, and Trump supporters will retweet it because they love it. Coming up,
in the world.
why calling a Starbucks barista a tall glass of pumpkin spice might not be the best idea. Coffee with a side of creep, right after the break. Starbucks doesn't want middle-aged men asking teenage baristas out on dates. I guess they don't believe in love. Lucas Werner of Washington, who is 37 but doesn't look a day over 41, says he was banned for asking out a 16-year-old barista. Werner, who bills himself as a scientist without a degree in science, I think I'm one of them, claims the girl was flirting with him, and he simply left her a nice note. But when he went back to Starbucks the next day, a police officer told him he wasn't welcome because his note was, quote, creepy. Yeah. Werner says this is just straight up age discrimination. He simply loves millennials, and he's left many non-creepy messages for them on his website and Facebook page. Attrited millennial hearts. I am not you. I am Generation X, but a simple K-selective diploid mammal of the of the species Homo sapiens. We are not creepy. We are no different than the apple tree, the salmon, the primate. That's beautiful.
Wow.
And he knows what millennials love too. Memes. No diploid species mates within its own age group. How true is that? Young ladies, are you charmed? Not so fast. He's going to make you work for it. Quote, prove your likability to me. Let's go out to eat, girl. I'm looking for a woman under 26 to go out to eat with me. Write me something nice, like an agreement for once in 5 years of my unquenched loneliness without you. And any hate mail at me gets your email address blocked. His notes are so easy to read.
Yeah. Not for commas, though.
So, Anthony, do you think Starbucks is doing the right thing?
Legally, he probably has something where he could say, hey, I'm just passing a note. But I don't know. I love seeing the Joey Buttafuoco of the new millennium. Yeah. This guy, just
that's his good side. He's got a lot of those selfies.
I like the Rico Suave look
on his website, but he definitely has his angle that he likes.
Yeah.
Well, when he was at first, when it's like he hits on a 16-year-old girl, not cool. But then when you read everything else that he has in the website and everything, you're like, buddy, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
You're not going to like what he's saying.
No, yeah. If you Again, 37-year-old man, just get your latte and get out, or whatever it is you got. Don't hit on a 16-year-old kid. She's a kid.
Name on the cup, hot for you. Write that down.
But then it's like everything behind him, too. He's like, why can't I do this? This is age discrimination. And then his website, the things that he's written, these poems of disgusting.
Just be specific. It's a little confusing when you see his language, but he believes that older men are better at mating with, that their DNA is stronger.
His hairline is gone. You know what I mean? This man's falling apart.
That one's a little like Jesse Joyce, isn't it?
He's got some issues. He's got some big issues. I don't think the police would have been called if he was handsome. I will say that. If he looked like Tom Hardy instead of one of the rejected members of the Nasty Boys, the former WWE tag team, he looks like someone who was a professional wrestler who drug and drank himself out of the profession. I don't think the police would have been called, but at the same time, just leave the barista alone. She's 16, she's trying to work her job, and I understand from her perspective not necessarily being thrilled to see this man re-enter the Starbucks establishment, solely because he does look like he has bodies in his trunk.
Yes, yes. Well, that was it. We didn't see the note that he sent to her, but he said it was an innocent enough note, but judging by the stuff on his website, I'm not sure if it was that innocent, doctor.
So did he know that she was 16? Did we figure that out?
That was my question.
You can tell the 16-year-old.
Like, did she look, really?
Well, you at least know that she's not an adult. You can at least see a child and be like, that's not what I should be talking to.
Maybe she looked 21. I don't know.
Well,
I can't believe I'm actually defending this guy.
In his message, he said that he knew
knock that oak down.
He knew she was at least 16 because that's the age you can work at Starbucks.
Yes, super creepy.
And that's the state's fault.
But you know what? I actually,
smart guy.
I would say to stop all of this, no more hiring 16-year-olds to do anything in the service industry. They don't want to be there. They're absolutely atrocious. 25 and up should be the only ones helping out anyone.
I worked at Starbucks when I was young, and I was 17, 18, and I got hit on, and I went on a date with the girl. It's terrible.
Oh, with the girl, not with the guy? Not with that guy?
Not a man. No. There was a man. Well, I can't really get into that story here, but there was a man, a kind of creepy man like this, but as a dude, you just kind of deal with yourself. I couldn't really go to the cops, so here we are.
A couple of rum and cokes works better than that lousy poetry anyway. Jeez, what's this guy doing?
Well, the funny thing is, with all this publicity he's getting, he will find a teenage girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. It's disgusting.
Because somebody is going to look him up.
Somebody that rhymes with Amy Fisher. A name that rhymes with Amy Fisher.
Why don't you have a seat right there? So you brought some condoms with you. I'm Chris Hansen.
Exactly.
Dateline NBC.
I always got the condoms with me.
Coming up, Halftime with TV's Andy Levy. And a brand new episode of the Red Eye Podcast is available. Subscribe on iTunes and on FoxNewsRadio.com. Welcome back. Time to find out what we got wrong and what we missed. From TV's Andy Levy at the Red Eye News Deck. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Good.
Happy Friday.
Friday.
The Real Housewives of ISIS video. Anthony, I am with you. I am completely shocked that this aired in England on the BBC.
Yeah.
Every show, I mean, I watch a lot of shows that are on the BBC. You would think watching that every person in England is in an interracial relationship. And there's just they are so progressive in that kind of way that I can't believe they let this go on.
They really go out of their way to not offend, especially Muslims, and that one it could be deemed offensive by some Muslims.
Yeah, well, apparently it was. Kissel, you thought the whole thing was great. I thought it was okay. I thought there were some funny parts in it, but there's one scene where they have them on their phones and everything they say hashtag this and hashtag that.
Right.
I can't watch anything where they say the word hashtag over and over again.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm happy that you found an actual valid complaint with the sketch.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree with you. And now Twitter has a new algorithm where you don't even need to hashtag anymore. So it dated the sketch. Yeah, you can just there's a word search finder now they have on there.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's England, Andy. They just got Twitter, so they're just getting into
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Nathan, you sort of compared a suicide bomber to a comedian having a bad night. In a way. I'm not taking issue with what you did. I kind of love that the person who complained about doing comedy like this, the one who said, if ISIS bombs somewhere in the UK and kills innocent people, will anyone find the show funny? Bombs and kills are like the two big words for comedians.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And it would be kind of interesting if a bomb did go off and then somebody was like, well, I wonder if that sketch was funny, and then went back and was like, oh no, I decided I don't like it. Just the way that it's worded seems as if something did happen, somebody has to, all right, Andy.
Okay. Tom, you said if something like The Producers, the movie, were written today, it wouldn't fly here.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. What about something like Monty Python's Life of Brian?
Well, again, I mean, that was a while ago, Andy.
I know. I'm saying, would that fly today?
Oh, yeah, it would.
Okay.
It's different. I mean, this would, with the Nazis,
Yeah.
you know, jokes about the Nazis, it was that window. I mean, it was like Hogan's Heroes, the producers.
Right. All right. The check your privilege cards. Nathan, you said whoever has the $5 to buy this card, that's privilege right there. Yeah, I totally agree. Maybe give the $5 you were going to spend on this to a homeless person.
That's great. And then DDT yourself for thinking about buying that stupid card.
Tom, I do think you're wrong. You said these cards are meant for privileged people.
Yeah.
I don't think that's right.
You don't?
No.
Like a self-aware, white, college-educated person in Brooklyn?
Oh, like someone woke?
Yes. Like they're the ones that are going to buy the cards.
Yeah. Okay. You might be right about that. On the other hand, I'm not buying them, so that kind of shoots your theory down.
He's woke.
Exactly. Ben, I'm with you. I thought citizen was a weird one to be on the list, but I don't think it has to do with making citizens arrests. I think it has to do with not being a person of undocumentation, as I like to call them.
Oh, I see. That's probably correct. Yeah.
Kelly, you brought up the white people in Appalachia as an example of not being privileged.
Mm-hmm.
I somehow feel like not a lot of people in Appalachia will be handing out these cards.
Well, right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just more false narrative from the left.
I think really, I don't think those cards have traveled off of the borough of Brooklyn.
I'm pretty sure you're
is
right.
my guess.
Yeah.
Ben, you weren't happy that the woman making this dumb card is making money off of them as well. Well, as Tom noted in his story read, she does say all the profits are going to a center for documented and undocumented youth.
I think that's absolutely fine, but the ultimate irony is I live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. They've displaced more minority groups than anybody that could ever imagine, more than Putin did in the Ukraine. They've displaced more people, so it's all hypocritical nonsense.
Yeah, all right. The news app for the Trump tweets. Nathan, I'm with you. I actually think this is a pretty good idea. I think this is going to be really useful for the next 4 or 8 or 12 years.
12.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I think we go 8 no matter what. I mean, who cares? Okay, but yeah, I mean, again, we were just talking about it a minute ago. I think it is kind of cheese, just in the way that he's like this is a way to use Twitter to get in touch with people. He has 17 million something followers. There's 300 million plus people in the country. It just doesn't. They just don't add up.
Yeah. All right. Ben, you said there's already an app to see what Trump's tweeting. It's called Twitter.
Yeah.
Right, but this is basically like getting notifications for Twitter, isn't it?
Well, you can get push notifications from Twitter. I mean, I suppose you could set it to every time Donald Trump tweets or something like that. How obsessed? I mean, it just feels like, why would you want to wake up every time Donald Trump tweets something? I think it would ruin your life.
Yeah, although on the other hand, if it would cost you a lot of, like if you have a lot of money in Boeing or something like that, and he tweets something that's going to cause you to lose a lot of money, you probably do want a notification.
Well, I don't know. It just seems to me like if you have a huge amount of money invested in Boeing, you probably have an understanding of the market that doesn't require you to have to check Trump's Twitter.
Well, okay.
Maybe.
All right. Nathan, you said that when George Costanza decided to do everything the opposite of normal, he ordered tuna on rye. No, tuna on toast was his regular order, so he got chicken salad on rye.
He still became president.
With tea.
So that happened.
He didn't become president, but he did get the girl.
He did get the girl, yeah. Which is better.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know.
The weirdo Starbucks guy. Anthony, you said legally he could say, look, he was just passing a note. Legally, he was totally fine. The girl was 16. That's the age of consent in Washington State.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He had no problem.
Cumia leaves the stage, gets on a plane. Just get your car started.
There's no legal issue here. Anthony, I do believe that's also the age of consent in New York. So it's all good.
I think it's 17 in New York.
Is it? It might be. I was taking a guess.
Doctor's giving me a look.
Can I get my giant shoulder out of this frame?
Tom, you said he believes dating older men is better for these young ladies because older men are somehow healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read through his website today, and you know what? That's close enough. He is obsessed with this enzyme, telomerase.
Telomerase, yes.
Yeah, and he claims that older men have less telomerase, and that means there's less risk of cancer.
Yeah.
And he's completely wrong. Like, oddly, you looking at him, you wouldn't think this. His science is bad.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, good, because I'm chock full of telomerase.
Yeah, no, it's really bad science. There's also absolutely no way his note wasn't creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Can we all agree on that?
He said he just wanted to take her out to eat.
Yeah. By the way, he's also homeless, and he's clearly mentally ill.
Gets better and better.
Yeah. He lives in a homeless shelter, and he talks about using his EBT card to take the girls out to dinner.
Oh.
This is true?
Yeah, this is true.
That changes the entire. This is now a completely different story.
I don't know what the government was paying
This is a
for it.
completely different thing.
I'll go with him.
Yeah. I'm done.
Thank you, Andy. Coming up, how will Americans respond to attacks on soda? History repeats next. Americans hate beverage taxes. Just ask the Redcoats. A new tax in the city of Big Brotherly Love, aka Philadelphia, is doubling the cost of some soft drinks. A receipt posted to Facebook shows that a 12-pack of Propel energy drinks now carries over $3 in taxes, bringing the total to $9. That's more expensive than a 12-pack of beer. Good news, alcohol is a substitute. Other Philly residents have posted maps to grocery stores outside the city limits, and one store owner stopped selling soda altogether, posting a sign that reads, in part, due to the fact that most of Philadelphia elected officials do not understand how to run a business nor balance a budget, Finks will no longer be part of this blatant robbery of hard-working Philadelphia taxpayers' money. Nathan, Finks, I'm going to start going to Finks.
I'll go to. Well, okay, America's going to hate me. I'm for this.
What?
I'm about it. 'Cause you know why? Soda can get out of here, man. It's a disgusting poison we have in a bottle. I really think, when you get cigarettes behind cases, we should put pop behind a case. I say pop because I'm from Canada. You get pop behind a case, so does all of the northern part of America. Pop behind a case, and if you want it, you got to show an ID, you got to ask for it. It's disgusting poison. We know this.
Wow.
Double the tax, triple the tax. Get it out of here.
Look, I grew up just fine, Anthony, and I refilled the soda machine at my junior high.
It was constant soda drinking when I was growing up. It was the big 2-liter bottles and stuff. And this is robbery. You're robbing the American people. Taxing people isn't a way to get them to stop doing stuff. Right. You must educate them to the evils that we just heard of, the horrible poison from Canada that is.
It's interesting. Do you think they should do that? Do you think they should? Because I see these ads on the subway, that show people, they
pouring
show
on the fat.
They have fat coming out of,
Yeah, that's great.
You like that? They're taxing you. The thing is, Anthony, they're taking your money away from you, and they're buying billboards on the subway that you ride on to gross you out. I don't like that either.
I don't like that either. But I'm thinking if you're a parent, because isn't that what it really is about, the kids? If you're a parent, don't you want to raise a healthy kid? Like, isn't that more important than taxes or your money? So just don't give your kids soda, you dummy.
This is what I'm saying.
Well, that's it. But
taxing them is like.
I want to get the opinion of I'm going to go to the doctor, and then we'll go to you, Ben. How's that?
Good idea. We have a doctor.
We do have a doctor. You probably like this communism.
I don't, and I'm sorry. You're such a nice guy, but honestly, I couldn't disagree more. I just, come on, goody, more regulation, great. I think it's a red herring to say that it is for good health. I really do.
You do?
I'm obviously, as a physician and dealing with diabetes is something I do focus on a lot. Diabetes, obesity, obviously on the rise. But I don't think regulation and telling people or influencing them via taxes, I think we're onto something there, Anthony. I don't think that's the way to go at all. Public health education is, and parents and parental guidance and all. But yeah, I don't. I think I certainly think it's a red herring for sure.
A red herring. Big Ben Kissel, what do you think?
Well, it's one of those liberal laws that has an unintended consequence, and the irony is the unintended consequences of this law is it's a tax on the poor. The wealthy people will be able to afford the soda whenever they want to have the soda, but the consumers who are less, wealthy will have a massive hit taken out of their paycheck every single time they want to buy a soda that they've become accustomed to. And where do you draw the line? I used to be 380 pounds. I lost 160 pounds. I didn't cut out soda. I cut out cheese, and I cut out eating pepperoni by the yard. So it's just, why is soda the thing? We go through the cereal aisle and charge them an extra tax.
Well, they will, and they should, and they are, and it's going to be good.
Wait, isn't the tax
wait a minute. I thought he appealed to your liberal instincts when he said it was a tax on the poor.
Only in the sense that yes, pop and stuff is only really bought by it's like $1 for a super 3-liter whatever. So yeah, but poor people are going to buy it. Only becomes slower. You're going to be crawling to get to your car. Let's just get rid of it, period. It's not helping anybody. Why the way? It's
where
bad.
do you draw
It's
the
so
line?
good. Yeah, it's a fun time. But what are we doing? Why don't we just add sugar to sewer water and start drinking that? It's not good.
Sugar's in everything, by the way.
I'm for freedom. I want people to drink whatever soda they want. But my kids don't drink soda.
Right.
We don't have it in the
There
house.
you go.
Maybe a little,
that's okay.
maybe a little bubble water. That's what we call it in my house.
Parenting.
Isn't the tax on alcohol less? I was reading in the article that it's actually less than in Philly
Yes,
than the
yes.
actual soda.
It's not as dangerous.
Not really. Oh.
Yeah, apparently not.
According to Philly.
I've made all of my worst decisions after slamming
Yeah.
Mr. Pibbs.
Oh, yeah.
You give me 3
Soda,
Mr.
right.
Pibbs and I'm driving just like I'm drunk almost.
Yeah. Well, what if it weren't a red herring, Doctor? The idea that you can nudge people into better behavior. Do you like the taxes on cigarettes, for instance?
No, I mean, I don't think I'm not for Big Brother regulation whatsoever. And what about everything in moderation? I mean, maybe not cigarettes, but yeah. What about moderation? You go to the gym every day. At the end of the week, if I want a soda, I want a soda. I don't want to spend a lot of money for it either.
There you go.
It seems strange. She only found out once she got the receipt. It doesn't seem like it was on a sign anywhere. Trickery.
But not everybody's going to be able to go to the gym every day. You know what I mean? I mean, first of all, you're weighed down by all the pop you've drank in your life. You're crawling through Philly. You gotta touch the Rocky statue, and then what are you gonna do? You can't do it. You just can't do it.
If they're out playing hard, that's the thing is we used to be out playing football, basketball, etc., and then we could drink a little bit of pop. Okay, coming up, a mascot struggles to find his footing. Coming up on the next Red Eye, Charles Cook, Kennedy, Louis J. Gomez, and Paul Odo. This really isn't a story, and I'm not sure there's much to talk about here. I just enjoyed a video immensely. A Minnesota car dealer, White Bear Mitsubishi, posted outtakes from a commercial featuring a mascot who had a little trouble standing on ice. See if you notice.
I wore the wrong socks. I wore the wrong socks. You tried the hot dogs here? Needless to say, I didn't get my deposit back. Needless to say, I didn't get my deposit back. And White Bear Mitsubishi is a proud sponsor of Golden Gopher Hockey.
What's incredible about this video? Look who is inside the mascot costume.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's a good sport. Since then, Ambassador Bolton's been undergoing balance training. He won't be falling anymore. Ben, I thought the beaver was a little cocky with that.
The beaver was so proud of him, his little beaver self. It's ridiculous. The Minnesota Gophers are having a tough go of it. But I love local commercials. It's the last bastion of true working man creativity.
Yes.
And just YouTube local commercials, and you'll have yourself a great hole to get into.
Yeah, that's right. Nathan, you guys up in Canada, all you do is walk around on ice, right?
Yeah, dressed as polar bears. It's a real weird thing we got going on. I just love this video. It's a great way to end a week. It's too funny. It's great.
Doctor, you see any problems? Any medical problems?
Where do we begin? Good thing he's wearing that big Gucci suit. I mean, honestly, I think there would have been a lot more medical problems. But I could just watch that over and over again. That's hysterical.
Oh, he is the real person. It wasn't Ambassador Bolton, but the actor inside the suit. He's dead.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's sad.
He passed away.
He looks like the bear that lands on the fat guy in Roadhouse. Doesn't he die that way? I know there's a bear crushing somebody.
You can see that in Times Square the first time it kind of ices over. Little Elmo falling down. And I don't know. Anytime I see the Gophers thing, I just think of Fargo. Gophers!
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Oh, yeah.
Well, go is right in their name. It's easy. Yeah. You're like, are you Gophers? Gophers. I don't get it.
Are we going now? Okay. Very special thanks, Dr. Kelly Powers, Nathan MacIntosh, Ben Kissel, and Anthony Cumia. That does it for me. I'm Tom Shillue, and I'll see you next time.
I wore the wrong socks.
Team 1, take 4.
I wore the wrong socks. Have you tried the hot dogs here? Needless to say, I didn't get my deposit.